Bada bing, bada boom, Robbie, my guy. How are you, sir?
Uh,
Look at that new house looking great.
Finally starting to get some stuff moved in. It's
It's
getting there.
it's
Been at it the
almost
last 3 days.
it's almost getting ready for a football season, buddy.
I can't wait. We got a preseason Browns game in Cleveland Friday.
Yeah,
I don't
are
know
you
if I'm
are
gonna
you
be going.
going?
I don't know. I was thinking about maybe take my kid up, leave around halftime or something. He can sleep on the way home, but
Is that
we'll see there.
is that included in your season tickets, the preseasons? Oh,
Yep.
well then you gotta go. You already paid for it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. Go to a game, halftime. Best way to go to a game with kids in the preseason. Go for a half, get them fed up, get them all nice and juiced up with all the sodas and the hot dogs, and then halftime, leave. Boom.
Yeah.
Get a
Beat the
little
traffic.
taste. I mean, you're a
Man.
season ticket holder, so you've already paid for it, right?
Yeah.
Um, well, speaking of Browns, you guys had a game. You got your kind of win against the Jets. How does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Pro Bowl. It's preseason.
How were you
It feels good to win a game. It feels good to have a game played, period. But
so talk to me. What was your first impressions?
and the big thing that stuck out to me was the linemen from Ohio State, both of them, Weipler and Jones, like they both killed it. So two late round picks that I think in 2 to 3 years, Bill Callahan's going to have them molded into perennial Pro Bowl linemen that we picked up in the fifth, sixth round and making Andrew Berry look like a genius. That was the
Well,
two big things that stood out to me during the game. I mean, other than that, it's hard. You got a lot of fourth, fifth string guys playing, but it was still just fun to watch football, see some football we played.
yeah, right, exactly. Good to be back on. Um, well, speaking of that division, all right, Jets. So last week or 2 weeks ago now, I guess, we talked about the AFC North. This week, um, we're going to break down the AFC East. So speaking of the Jets, so the Jets. Let's start with the Jets since you guys just played them. Um, what
Great
what?
defense.
Yeah, okay. What's your thoughts on them? Because I feel like they made all the right moves this offseason to at least have a chance, but like, are all the pieces going to fit together?
All depends on A-Rod. That's what it all comes down to. If Aaron Rodgers performs, hate to say this, they have a chance they make it out of not only the AFC East, but the AFC. But if Aaron Rodgers is, the near 40-year-old that he's been playing like the last few years, it just doesn't seem interested. It could be a long year. Might see
This,
Zach Wilson at some point, but he seems rejuvenated. He seems like he's happy there. It's the first time we've ever seen him play the mentor role at any point in his career. He says he's got good relationships with some of the backup quarterbacks in Green Bay, but yeah, we heard about like the things that were said when they drafted Jordan Love and what he thought about him and how he treated him in practice, and seeing some of the clips of him and Zach Wilson joking around and seeming like they're actually kind of friends. Pretty cool.
yeah, that was cool. I saw a couple of those clips where Aaron was talking to Zach in the headset, let him know like Malik was going to be open. Um, my this is my thing though. This New York teams remind me of another New York team that tried a crazy experiment, and everyone thought that they were going to dominate, but the Nets when it got swept. Like it's like, does New York have this trend of you think you can just mishmash a bunch of players and it'll work out? I mean, they've done it before with the Yankees, they figured it out, but I don't know. I mean, I could see them just kind of being a 500 football team. That's it.
The difference with the Yankees all those years that they were so good was the core was still there, that was still the same.
Yep.
And they just kept bringing in big guy after big guy after big guy around the core that it made it a lot easier to gel and mesh. And, they were still a team.
Yeah.
Whereas you're not just trying to throw a bunch of new guys together that don't know each other and have no chemistry at all and just expect them to perform at a top level.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this experiment works out for sure. Um, all right, moving right along, we got the Patriots. Here's my take on the Patriots. Mac Jones is not the guy, and Bill gets a lot of hate, but I still think Bill's got his best football coaching ahead of him. I just don't think it's going to be with Mac Jones.
Bailey's out. I'll take over. Did they draft a quarterback this year?
Zappy fever. I am not sure on that. I'll fact check that. Why you give me what your thoughts on the Patriots are going to be?
The Patriots, it doesn't matter who's on the team, the names on the roster. They're always going to find a way to be competitive. They're always going to have a tough defense, just as long as Belichick's is still there and still the coach. None of the players really matter. They're not going to be the level that they were, though, because of the one player that did matter that's gone, and that's Tom Brady. You'd take Tom Brady out of retirement, bring him back to New England. They're Super Bowl favorites instantly. Don't have to change anything else on the roster.
100%. You're 100% right. They did not draft a quarterback. They drafted, I bet you can guess, they drafted a lot of defensive players. So that's what Bill Belichick does. And there's a reason why Bill Belichick's defenses are great year after year after year. And even I was watching the show Quarterback, and even like Pat and them were talking about how, it's always tough going and playing New England because Bill, the way that they run their coverages and their schemes, they do a lot of creative stuff, and every week they're doing something different. So yeah, I think the Pats defense is going to keep them in there. That does every year. But I think if these guys really want like a chance of being at the top of this division, they need to find a different quarterback because there's two other teams that we haven't talked about yet. And the Jets, who just picked up Aaron Rodgers, who I would say is, top
He's still
five.
a top tier quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. And you got Mac Jones right now, who really hasn't, I get it, rookie year, but even like, he just hasn't hasn't shown the improvements that I think you'd want to see.
Alabama quarterback.
Yeah, right. And yeah, McCarron. What was that? AJ McCarron, I think.
All they are, they're all system quarterbacks. And I know people said the same thing about the Buckeyes forever. We've kind of changed that narrative recently, but
Well,
Alabama quarterbacks don't produce in the league.
they don't. They don't. And there's been a big trend, and I just think they need to move on from Mac. But who that guy is, I don't know. Is it Zappy Fever? Let's look up Patriots QBs right now.
I think there's a Mr. Cam Newton out there still.
Yeah, right. Or I saw someone was given. Yeah, nope. It's just Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones right now.
That's it.
That's it. So who knows? Who knows what they're gonna do? But they got to figure it out, or maybe make a trade. I don't know. I feel like a lot of teams have two quarterback issues right now. Marcus Mariota, go pick up Marcus Mariota. He's looking for
Yeah.
a spot right now. Um,
All right,
moving
we're
right
going
along.
north next.
Yeah, moving right up along. Let's go right with the Dolphins. Speaking of quarterback issues, I think the Dolphins have one of the most explosive offenses when their quarterback's in. And again, it's nothing about skill. It's just injury, and it's a
The
scary
biggest
injury too.
mark at quarterback anywhere in the league this year is will Tua stay healthy?
Yeah, because I feel like they have amazing weapons. They have a stout defense, but it's almost similar like the Bengals, right? Like if the Bengals don't have Joe, which we're going to talk about that later. It's like they're a totally different team without Tua, I think. Now they
Yeah.
did just pick up, who did they pick up? Hunt? Was it?
Mike White.
I think so.
Pretty sure they signed Mike White this offseason from New York.
Why do I feel like they also picked up Huntley?
I wouldn't. I don't know. I did not know that.
No, James Blackman. Never mind. Nope.
All right.
Tua, Mike White, and James Blackman, and Skylar Thompson from Kansas State, which that's a pretty good pickup too. Um, yeah, I think this team has a shot to give the Bills a run for their money for sure. I think the Dolphins are dangerous. I hate it's I feel so bad for them for a franchise. Every year it's like it's their year, and then
And then something
injuries
happened.
take them out. I think. I mean, again, anytime Tariq Hill's on the field, you have a chance to win football games. So, um, I want to count the Dolphins out of finishing this, especially if the Bills can't figure it out. Um, what are some other thoughts you got for the Dolphins?
Man, tons of talent. That wide receiving, that's one of the best 1-2 punches in the league with Hill and Waddle. Gesicki's a heck of a weapon at tight end. McDaniels is a fun coach. He's
He's
fun to watch.
he is hilarious, ripping vape sticks on the sideline.
Yeah,
That
he's just
guy,
out there. Total bro.
he is. I really do like him. I really do like Mike. Um, yeah, I'm a fan of. I mean, again, being from Florida, you always have a little bit of Dolphins. You cheer for them. To get the fins up. But it's just I feel like every year is their year if they believe it, but then like just something bad happens and it's just the whole season falls apart. And
Yeah,
again, it's like okay, well, again, it's their year, but it's like come on, you know how this cycle works. They're gonna do something, but I really do believe that if they can keep Tua healthy, they
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 can
have
win
a
the East.
they have a chance to win the East. Um,
Who I
which
think's gonna win the East.
yeah brings us to our last one, the Bills. Man, I mean they're
Yeah,
just the team that can't get over that just hump to get to the AFC Championship game, but they have been sniffing that door for the last couple years
years
now.
now. Yeah.
So what do the Bills have to do to get themselves into the AFC Championship game?
So I think one of the big things we just talked about it in Miami, but Josh Allen's health. They didn't talk about it much last year at the end of the year, but I saw him in that game in Detroit when Cleveland played against the Bills. His accuracy just got hurt after he hurt his elbow, and they said that injury was one that it's not painful. You can play through it, but you lose accuracy on short passes. And the whole end of the season, guy just wasn't himself.
No.
Still out there trying, giving you 120%, but just you could tell just he was missing on passes that he shouldn't miss on. But he's that gunslinger mentality that I personally love. He's got a lot of Favre in him, Aaron Rodgers, but just big old country version that'll run right through you too if he gets out of the pocket. So
Big boy.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
I'm
I think the Bills have a chance to really I think I mean, if there's a year to do it with the key players and the key moves that they've made this offseason, they got themselves a running back. Their defense is still coming back. Um, I know there's a little bit of field issues with Stephon Diggs right now, but I still think, with Josh Allen back there, I do think, he can make plays himself. So I think, just having support pieces at wide receiver, just guys that can run some good, clean routes. But I think the Bills are dangerous just as ever. I think they come in just the top favorites as they have. I don't think they've lost anything in terms of, big contract guys who are like, oh, that's a big miss for them. I think if anything, they're coming back and they're an angry team, man.
yeah,
They've gotten to right almost, the AFC Championship. They've been knocked out the round before 2 years in a row by two teams, both of which went to the Super Bowl, you know, um, respectively, and one of those teams won the Super Bowl. So, I mean, they're right there every year. So,
I think
yeah,
this
man.
could be the year that they
Could
finally
be.
get over the hump.
It could be, but they definitely, I think for them, they have to establish a run game and they can't rely just on Josh Allen. I think that's where they became too one dimensional last year and teams caught on and they just ran out of steam. So they have to be able to do more than just the same old thing, you know. And their
Yeah,
defense, I do feel like their defense last year was not as good as it's going to be this year. I do think their defense towards the tail end of the season, they had some broken coverages and some teams really exposed them. So um, they got to have a better defensive performance than they did last year for sure.
yeah,
All right, man. So how do you think it's going to finish? What's your early prediction?
yeah. I'm thinking Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Pats,
Okay. I'm
and
going. Okay. Yep. Keep
I
going.
see Buffalo and Miami making the playoffs with the Jets just barely missing.
I like it. I like it. I'm going to go with Buffalo, Jets, Dolphins, Pats. That's my prediction. And
Good.
but I'm going to agree with you that two teams will make it. I do think the Jets and the Bills will both make it from the East for sure. And if the AFC North can't figure it out, I could see the Dolphins squeaking in
Even
there as well.
possibly have a third, yeah.
Yep, I could see that as well. 100%. There's been a couple of the guys I coach with. They think that there's going to be three from the East too, or they think there's going to be three from the East. So, and I don't think they're wrong. It's a
Argument
tough
could definitely be made.
it's a tough conference, just as tough as the AFC North for sure. Um, well, speaking of the AFC North, I know we talked about him last week, but Joey B calf injury, man. So what is your kind of thoughts on this? Should he
Yeah.
play week one against the Browns? Do the Bengals have a chance to win against the Browns if he's not playing? What's your thoughts?
Do the Bengals have a chance to win against the Browns if he is playing? I mean, he's what, 1-5 in his career against
At
us?
this point, I might say let's sit him
You
out.
guys have you guys have had what? Kyle Allen's got a tour. What's that guy's? Who's your backup? Is that Kyle Allen? He's 2-0 against us. So
Simeon right now.
oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon Allen. We almost
Brandon Allen, that's who it
remember
was.
that game? That was 2 years ago in
Oh,
January, last game of the
man.
year.
I
When we
was so
won.
embarrassed.
That came down to like a fourth down too, like a fourth and
Yeah,
one. That was a wild.
that was a great game.
Baker
But
didn't travel even to his own arena. And Joe didn't travel. That was cold. That was cold.
yeah.
That was a rough one. Um, so yeah. I mean, if you're Joe Burrow, what do you think? What do you play in week one?
And he's the only one that can answer that question, really. If he's going to hurt himself for the rest of the year, no, it's not worth it. But if he thinks he can play through it and it's just pain, he's not hurting himself. Yeah, you're an athlete. You're paid millions of dollars. Get out there and go compete. But
Yeah.
if you figure there's a chance, like I honestly thought it was an Achilles when he first started grabbing at it like that.
Yeah, I was nervous.
That's season over right there at that point.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't. It was just a calf injury, but like to see him get right, get healthy as quick as possible.
Yeah, it's just tough because right off the rip, it's a divisional game. It's a tough game. But
Yeah,
Jamar Chase
back
has
to
already
back.
yeah. Jamar Chase has already come out and said, I don't want him back until week 5. So um that's a bold statement from number one there.
Yeah,
But I see what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, again, we were talking about a Bengals team last year who went, I think we were 0-4. We might have been at least 1-3 to start the season and still made it to
Mm-hmm.
the AFC Championship game. Um, but definitely a big hurt for the Bengals. Joe, I hope you can get back, buddy. I also loved how they they had to tweet about how, hey guys, stop calling us about sending in calf muscles. That's not how this works.
Yeah, I saw that. That made me laugh.
All right, buddy. Well, let's wrap up. I do want, before we wrap up, breaking news. So this could possibly all go down before we even air this, but what's going on with Kareem Hunt and the Saints, man?
So I read that after they put out that they were going to agree on number or agree on terms pending a physical. He also is still meeting with the Colts tomorrow. And that he did get out of the building, did not sign a contract, and still plans to meet with Indianapolis tomorrow. So let's see what old Arsay can conjure up for him there in Indy. It's a lot closer to him for home. He played in Toledo in college, really familiar with the area. Indianapolis and Toledo are an hour, hour and a half away, something like that. They're not very far. So,
Um, but do you want? I mean, so do you want him out of there, or like?
man, I'd like him back in Cleveland. I don't see any way it happens. Maybe with Jerome Ford getting hurt now they're willing to go ahead and throw a little bit of money his way and try to keep him back, but I don't see it. As somebody that owns Alvin Kamara in a keeper fantasy league, I don't want him to go to New Orleans.
I've been
There's
hearing
already
some.
enough
Yeah, I've been
enough
hearing some
carries that are
rumors. I've been hearing some rumors that Kamara isn't supposed to be getting as many touches, but those are
yeah.
just from some diehard Saints fans, so you never can tell. But all right, man. Well, we'll see where Kareem ends up. I hope he stays a Brown, but I also, I mean, we're talking about a guy who, if he doesn't make one stupid decision, you never have him in Cleveland anyways to begin with. So,
No, he's probably
guess
got two
just
Super Bowl rings at this point.
yep. So just be thankful for the time you had him. All right. Last up, famous 31s, buddy. The only one I got on this list, Mr. Clutch, Reggie Miller, bro.
Man, that was the only one I could think of, really. There's not a lot of 31. I'm pretty sure my grandma drove bus 31 at some point.
Shout out to your grandma. The other ones I'm seeing Mike Piazza and Greg Maddox,
Okay.
Mark Jackson, Billy Smith, Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor. There you go. Good safety.
Nice.
But yeah, 31s were very scarce. But Reggie Miller, talk about an all-time great dude.
Dude,
Mister,
just killed it.
yeah,
One of the best shooters of all time.
Mr. Clutch. I mean, his whole
Sorry.
like it was like what, like 9 points in like 10 seconds or something to come back and win. Like still to this day,
Unreal like that.
one of the
Yeah.
most epic performances ever. All right, buddy. Well, anything else to wrap up on?
One last thing got to touch on. Jose Ramirez just
Oh
cemented
yes.
himself as an all-time Cleveland legend, all-time Cleveland athlete with the knockout of Tim Anderson at second base.
So I have to
Hamilton
ask.
with all-time Paul.
I have
Down goes Anderson.
I have to ask. Do you
Go ahead.
agree? Do you agree with the suspensions?
You mean you knocked a guy out, you're gonna get suspended. 3 games don't bother me. Whatever. We'll take it, bro. That's worth it. Other guy
Um,
was running his mouth. He was picking at a couple of our rookies. I want one of my veterans to knock him out every time if it's only a 3 game suspension.
it it's almost like it's like we talked about this with basketball. How it's like sometimes fighting's good for sports, man. I mean, again,
Yeah.
within reason, but like let them square up.
Yeah. And the ump did a great job. Once he realized what was going on, he just got out of the way. He didn't know what Jose was saying anyways. He doesn't speak English. So he starts just saying something in Spanish and gets that look in his eye. And fake tough guy Tim Anderson squared up. He actually looked like he might have been able to fight, but then just completely whiffed on like 3 or 4 punches. And Jose just bobbing and weaving and then ducked and threw that right. And it was wild. It was just all or nothing, but it landed.
Oh, it was
And
nice.
when it lands, it's beauty.
It was exciting. It was good.
Oh yeah,
It just
I
gets
was
your
up all
juices
night
flowing.
watching the video,
Dude,
watching Tim Anderson go on Jello leg on the way out.
I
It
still
was freaking hilarious.
I still can't stop watching it. It's just it was such an epic highlight. I mean, just clean as a whistle. Bang. Just like you said, down goes Anderson. It was the perfect call. Perfect call.
And shout out to Hamilton, one of the greatest broadcasters of all time.
Nailed it.
He's the voice of Cleveland baseball, has been my whole life.
Absolutely nailed it. It was great. And good. I honestly think good for the sport of baseball. Baseball is getting a little bit too boring here. So, I mean, someone left a comment on one of the videos. It was like, that's what happens when the pitch clock is starting to make people go crazy. Just
Yeah.
losing their minds.
Yeah,
I
you
love
want
it.
to make baseball more exciting? You want to bring more fans? Let them throw down.
Let them throw down. Every sport would be a little bit more fun if you got them to throw down a little bit. Like
Yeah.
hockey has it. Hockey does it best. Hockey does it best. Just let them get a little steam out within reason. You know, we're not looking for bloodbaths, but within reason
Like,
for sure.
I'm old school baseball. I don't even think they should get kicked out if it's not anything egregious.
No.
Two guys square up, the bench is clear. You know, there's a little pushing and shoving, a couple punches thrown by two guys. Man, I want to see him go back out there and just play again. I want to see
Yeah.
that matchup again. If it's a starting pitcher, I want to see an inning and a half, 2 innings later, that guy come back up to the plate again and see what happens.
Yeah. Like what? Oh, how do they come up with a penalty box for baseball? That's the thing, right? Come up with they have to play a man down. They play a man down
Yeah.
for one batter or two batters or something like that. That'd be nuts. It'd be more fun. It'd be more fun. It'd be more
We
entertaining.
got to figure out a way.
All right. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Robbie, it's always a pleasure seeing you, buddy. Good luck
Man.
good luck with your moving. Getting close. I'll be coming up there soon enough, buddy. Wait, tomorrow's the month. The 9th. We're almost at a month until I'm there, buddy. All right, man. Hey, have a good one. Everyone, thanks so much for everything. We love you. Keep the change.
Everybody have a great night.